Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris Omi, and we're back playing Starters Order 7, but this is a new series. This is the updated version 1.13 of Starters Order 7, and the other save had some issues. I retired horses from the breeding barn. They were still in the breeding barn, and I couldn't do anything with them. I could still breed with them, but they weren't aging up. They couldn't be retired. They couldn't be brought back into the racing barn. They were just locked in there. And yeah, when I was trying to clear out horses, there was like so many in there that it just got a mess. And then I sold some horses at auction, and for some reason they didn't sell. And again, they were locked into the racing stable. And I don't know what kind of bug happened where or why, but something did, and that was basically the death of that save at that point. I tried to record a couple of videos. I had some issues with that. And yeah, we've had a few storms in the area. One tornado not too far away, maybe 20 miles. And that was expected to come up and get as close as about 2 to 3 miles from where I live over the last couple of days. But luckily, the storm kind of broke just before it got to us. And yeah, all in all, we got quite lucky with that. But we did have some internet issues, which did ruin an upload. We did have some power issues, which did ruin a couple of recordings. And yes, I am the kind of idiot that would record when there's a possible tornado on the way, but let's skim over that, shall we? Let's skim over that. I was confident it was going to break. My wife wasn't. I was right, but I was also very kind of stupid in risking that. But it was the only time I had to record over the past few days. But no, it doesn't matter. That footage isn't going up, because a lot of it was wrecked. That save file seemed to be corrupted. So what I did was I went ahead and completely uninstalled the game and reloaded everything, applied every patch in turn, put my mods, the graphical mods, back in where I wanted them, and a couple of issues arose from that. I still had the same issues on that save, and my breeding save just wouldn't load. So I've actually restarted absolutely everything. I have restarted absolutely everything. So I'm happy enough. So for this game, I have taken 6 horses that I don't think you would have seen before. 4 yearlings and 2 2-year-olds out of my old breeding save that I put in the transfer list. You'll be able to see that the transfer list is really growing quite nicely again. And I focused the last few days on that breeding game to try and get a bunch of good young horses that were better than I had before. For some reason, as well, part of I don't know if this is something that's happened to anyone else, but on my transfer pool, Glingermill was a gelding. Now, I didn't geld it. It just happened to be, when I imported it across, it was a gelding in the game. So I've lost Glingermill, we've lost Glingermill from the transfer list, which, to be honest with you, was the head of the breeding program for a long, long time, and now is no longer able to be bred from. So that 95% cruising burst is gone. And that sucks. That really sucks. Now, the good thing is, I raised my standards quite a lot, so you're looking at least potential 70. You're looking at least 40, I believe, for confidence and enthusiasm. And we're looking at decent cruising bursts. Some horses don't have it, some do. Varying levels. I think I got like a 50 or a 60% cruising burst. So losing Glingermill, not the end of the world. We still got some there, but still, it's a little annoying. At least 70 extra speed and 100% full bar in finish application and consistency. So I think that should be a lot better for us. Every single one of these horses, I believe, has that. And so every horse we're going forward needs to match up to it. So, when we look at Pride, Pride's a 2-year-old colt. I'm not sure. Hold on, I can actually find out. Pride is actually one of May's. So, May Burnett. That's one of their foals. Not a lot of speed to begin with as a 2-year-old, but really good stats. And this is kind of the default almost. You know, at least 40 confidence and enthusiasm, at least 70% extra speed, full bars here, and at least 70% here. So this is pretty much, you know, just over the default minimum requirements, but Pride hits all those. And then Psyche is shift and personal. So personal touch and shift is down here. I think Tyrion actually and May made Pride. So Psyche is in my list as psychic. There's already a horse in the game with that. A little bit more enthusiasm here. Touch, more extra speed. Doesn't matter about ground for this horse either. They're quite low in potential. Actual potential or realized potential or whatever the game wants to call it. I call it ability. They're both fairly low. And then if you look at the yearlings, we've actually got 2 of those horses here. So we can see Tyrion looking pretty good and will come into things as a pretty good horse. Again, minimum enthusiasm, but I want at least 40 there. And again, some really nice stats. Shift, again, some really nice bits and pieces. They're fairly similar. They've all come from, realistically, they've all come from 4 sires. As far as I'm aware, I think they've come from 4 sires. They've come from Glingamil. They've come from Personal Touch. They've come from Eigel Door. And I believe they came from Dashing Lad. So everything that I've bred, everything else on this list, I think comes from one of those 4 sires. And then filtered down through there. So Tyrion comes from one of those 4. And then a couple of these horses come through Tyrion. I believe Pride and Shift are the 2. So that bloodline will feature heavily in this save. I know Dashing Lad, for example, has got Common. It's got Publican. It's got Armada, and it's got Hagrid. I know that, yeah, Personal Touch has got Copper, Psychic, which is Psycho in this game, and Colville as well. So we're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good in that. We managed to get the breeding program running and gunning. So a quick look at Copper. There he is. More than fulfills the stats. And again, could turn into a really, really nice horse. And then Huntress, I think, is one of my last ones that I managed to breed. I think Destiny, Hagrid, and Lucky were all after, but they were the only ones after Huntress, who, again, looks pretty dang good. So, it's 2 breeding saves. It's about 20 years of breeding. And it was, like I say, really, I think I bred with some game bred horses in the first couple of, seasons. And then I bred exclusively within my own barn from maybe 2 studs for a large period of that. So, the breeding program, if you get the right sort of horse through, like we did Glingamil, 6 Group 1 wins in a row. That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. We managed to get that horse in. We experienced all the wins, all the joys, all the headache before, and he went off the cliff really quickly after that. But overall, he did his business on the track, went to the breeding barn, and within 2 saves at about, I want to say, a maximum of 10 seasons combined, we got a lot of quality in the games. So, yeah, it shouldn't scare anybody. I've put the barn down where it should be. We're at the Rascal Riding Academy. I bet heavily. I think I actually messed up slightly. Hold on, let's go check. Yeah, I was going to go for an easy game, but I actually kept creating UK games by mistake. So we're actually playing on a difficulty normal. I put my breeding save in slot 1, because that's what I've been working on the last couple of days. We're up to season 6 on that. So that's where a lot of these horses have come from. And we're just moving through on this save, as you can see. So yeah, not too bad at all. But we're playing on a normal, so we had less money. I sold my horses, I gambled, I bet on a lot of horses that had like 5 and 6 to 1 at the start. Managed to put a couple of grand on them before they got short odds. Lost some money, gained some money. I haven't bought anything though, because I thought, I've sorted this out, but I haven't bought anyone. I haven't got jockeys. I'm going to go through that because I had a question on Twitter, actually a DM on Twitter, I should say, about what might have the best impact at the start of a game if you have a little bit of money. So I'm going to go through that a little bit here. If you've got good horses to breed from, I think we'll start by saying if you've got a good potential sire and dam to put into breeding barns, then I'd say both the stud facilities and the breeding barn itself will be good purchases. Now, you will make that money back. You'll make that money back. It might take a couple of years, but from that point forward, it's profit all the way. You'll get 1-year-olds, keep them and sell them as unraced 2-year-olds, and use some of that money to buy 1-year-olds in the auctions, get the yearling auctions, get your horses in there, and if they're no good, keep them for a year and sell them again as unraced 2-year-olds. You'll stack your money up. So if you're money focused, then that, I would say, is the way to go. If you want to breed good horses and keep good horses and maybe a little bit of money, then the breeding barn is number 1. For 340 grand, you can get the breeding barn and you can really kickstart your own career there. But we do need a good female horse to breed from. You need a good filly or a good mare to go into that barn and become the dam of your future. Apart from those, really, it doesn't matter too much how you want to go. If you've got a lot of horses, get the car park and get, some transport vans maybe, or the transport if you want to spend big money. So yeah, if you've got, say, more than 10 horses, then you definitely need to start upgrading to some of these extra vehicles. Apart from that, you've got some stuff which do help swimming pool, increases the horse's stamina. Your weather dirt gallops. You can train for all weathers, and also the artificial surfaces will become more familiar. The starting ability from the training stall. So you can see by hovering over what everything does. If you've got an infection, get the quarantine holding. Everything else, presentation is gallop rails and Gardner, not too much. But you can see here exactly what everything does. So it's up to you kind of how you want to play it. And of course, if you have got a lot of horses, you need to increase your stable capacity. A big chunk of change is just maxing that out. And even though I normally don't have a lot of horses, I usually do that very quickly, just so I never have to worry about it. So, yeah, if you're not gambling for big money and you're coming across your money really early, in small amounts. I would say stuff like a training stall will get you, a little bit better. I'd say mainly the training thing. So I'd start off with the training stalls. Once I get up to about 1 million, I might put in the swimming pool, and then I might put in the dirt gallops. I'd probably put the gallop rails in Gardner just for the hell of it, because they're really small amounts of money. And then I'd start looking at the staff and the office building and the trainers, and just start picking up those. Now I've got these in. You've got swimming pool, the gallops, training stalls. At that point, I probably would then look to the breeding program after that. So it's up to you, but like I say, I think those would be my keys for about 560 grand. I'd probably go and do those first. Then I would look, like I say, I'd probably just for 3 grand improve the looks of things. And then I would start looking at those. There's another 500,000. Then I would start I thought I had the car park. Did I choose the field by accident? Okay. No wonder this didn't change. I thought that's supposed to turn a different color. So then you can buy up your vans, get your breeding in, start working on that, and then just get some quarantine areas up until you're fully done. Now, it doesn't take too long to do that. It's not too expensive. It's about 4.5 to 5 million. So yeah, really that would be the order I would do it in. And again, jockeys, you click on the jockey tab, you click on apprentices, you find an apprentice that you like. Now I think that these aren't great because they weigh more than 8 stone. And I'm not sure, is there anything that actually would be below 9? There is, isn't there? There's 8.3. Okay, so that goes down to 8.5. We don't worry about those. 8.8 on maidens. 8.5 on selling races. So depending on what kind of race you want to be sort of doing, you can get a horse in. So yeah, you got 3 skills. So look for a good skill. Of course, that's riding ability. The honesty rep is how much you can trust their feedback. And the obedience rep is reputation of how often they will obey your race day instructions. So I don't worry about that third one. The first one is key. The second one is really, really nice. So it looks like we're quite low on skill. But Berrios is very honest, so yeah, might as well pick him up. And then we might have something at below 8. Like I say, for me, I look at maidens. So I look at maidens and, graded races. So 9, most jockeys are going to be below that. Then you look at your maidens and you're like, okay, 8.8. So that's how you can tell where you want your jockey's weight to be. Now, you don't want it more than that figure. So if you're at an 8.10, like Smith, really good jockey, but he's going to carry 2 more pounds on that horse than he should because he weighs too much for the allowance of that horse. So you're looking at around 8.8. Now, if you go 8.7, it's carrying a pound less, and you'll actually get a pound weight to carry. So there will be some weights hidden in the saddle that weigh a pound that slow the horse down just that little bit to keep things interesting and even across the board. So I tend to look in that range. You can see it goes all the way down to 8 and all the way up to 9. You can do what you want. A lot of races are 9. Don't worry too much about it. You can book jockeys per race rather than retaining a jockey. Retaining is just paying them their fee and then an amount to race, which would be less than you pay a normal jockey to race on a one-off basis. But by and large, they're almost always available for you. You get right to first refusal in any race you book the jockey in. As long as it's more than a week away in game time, they will ride your horse. So it's worth doing. So at about 8-8, I think when you look at it, there's not too much here that I liked a lot. It depends what you're looking for. If you're not looking for honesty, then, you know, Talamo could be pretty dang good. Alvarado, if you look at that, it's about 85, 90, 85. That actually puts him well in the lead right now. And yeah, I think I'm just actually going to do that. So let's do that. And then this little box here, you can barely see it, but you can see the text. Autobook retainer for horses on entry if possible. Just make sure you click that. It'll turn a green. All that means is when you book a race, it'll automatically try and put that jockey on it unless it can't. Unless there's a reason why he's unable to ride that day, it'll automatically book on that horse. So it's kind of what I look to do. So yeah, we sold the horses, we've bet, we've brought in from the transfers, and now we've booked our jockeys, we've upgraded our facilities. Now we've got to book the races. So I think these are both very similar horses. There's the maiden there. And I don't think there's anything for a while. I mean, there's a grade 3. If I want to be really cheeky, there's a grade 3 all the way at the beginning of the year. So you're not great. You're a little bit better. You're not great either, though. Yeah, look, we book in Pride. Immediately, Alvarado goes in. So the extra weight between Alvarado's weight and the weight on the horse is going to be the big thing there. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, we're not ready to race. We are not ready to race. You can tell by the status of the horses. And then you can also click on the horse, click on head lads, and he will tell you. So, yeah, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go forward until they're ready to race. I'm going to sort of skip forward and just get to some races. Okay, we are back with some races booked. We've got maidens. We've got Delaware for Syker. And then Maryland, we've got a race for Pride. As I say, they're both fairly similar horses. We've got low ability, 45 on Pride, 25 on Syker, 70 to 75% potential. They've both got decent confidence and extra speed, enthusiasm. There's not too much variance in these horses. Pride is the better of the two right now, but again, not by much. So just double check on the day of racing that we're good for the distance. And these will be the first races we have done at all. So let's go and find these. So Psyker is there in the middle of the betting. Why is Berrios? Oh, because... Oh, that's a shame. I didn't want Berrios to be riding, but okay, we'll be running at 8-1, and I think he's 8-3, so we're actually wasting a little bit there. It's okay. It is what it is. But it means we should win. We should win. Now, until we get a more crowded racing barn, we're probably just going to watch races. And we'll be more selective when we get more horses. So, Psyker here seems to be running in the middle of the pack with Cloud Cuckoo Land, Goldwell on the inside, then Captain Baldwin. We've got Newman, Young Love, and Ben Benz at the rear. Also, we're just holding there on the outside. We now move inside. We're going to try and go up the inside. So if Captain Baldwin can go, it looks like we're going to force Goldwell wide. That means we can find ourselves a path through. But there will go Goldwell. Captain Cuckoo Land is still holding on to Captain Baldwin, or Cloud Cuckoo Land, I should say. And here comes Newman driving from deep with Young Love. And I'm just not sure why we're not running well. Far from the worst horse in the field, but it looks like we're going to get 4th place in a maiden. Stayed on same place. Same place. Really? Okay, so Psyker is a 6 furlong horse. Probably what that means. Psyker is a 6 furlong horse. I didn't think either of them would be 6. So I'll put them both in at 5 to see. Pride's got a shot. Again, we don't know anything about these unraced horses, so we are carrying the extra weight allowance. I thought we would have been a little bit more competitive. Obviously not. So Pride, the better of the 2 horses right now, but by no means outclassing the rest of this field. If you ignore the potential, then the rest of the bars are pretty good. The ability of 45, I mean, that could be fairly similar to some of these other horses. So Milden out in front with Country Project and Vivacious Lass. Chef de Coeur now getting overtaken by Pride on its outside. We're leaving the back 4, Tiger's Tail, Countrywide Girl, Uber Alice, and Jarzan behind. And with 2 furlongs left, here comes Countrywide Girl down our inside. Tiger's Tail down the outside. Country Project making a move up front. Vivacious Lad into second very briefly and then kicked back. It looks like it's going to be Countrywide Girl here storming through. Half a furlong left. Tiger's Tail really trying to make a fight for it, just dying before the end of the line, and I believe that is 5th place for us. Ran green, stayed on same pace. Again, probably 6 furlongs. So, I booked a pair of 5 furlongs, and yeah, it might just be that we're 6 furlongs. So, I'm going to look at those races. So, there's a small field there for Psyker. And our jockey's probably busy that day, okay. But we can probably go for a good jockey. Now, I could go elsewhere. I'll spend the extra money. There we go. Yeah. You've got the ability. You're fine. And then another 6 furlong. What are we going to do here? I mean, I don't want a huge field. Really? And I don't want other people to be using apprentice jockeys either. So we get Pride in there. And again, Cotolo will be decent enough there. So we're carrying as little dead weight as possible. Carry live weight like the jockey, you can help mitigate it. Not so much dead weight. That's kind of my theory on it. I'm not sure if it actually works out that way. And we look at the sales, and there's yearling and breeding. I'm actually not going to buy any horses in sales within this first season or two, because we're going to get a couple of years out to Cycle and Pride, and then we've got our 4 yearlings to come up anyway. So we've got a few years before we need that to produce for us. So we're going to skip until the next day's racing. Save the game. Let's go in and find Syca's race. And let's see. Evans favourite. Okay. So carry a little bit of less weight than the rest of these because we're the only filly in the field. Oh yes, oh yes. Looks like if I was betting, I'd probably put some on Syca right now. 4 out of 5 tipsters. Happy enough with that. So 6 furlongs could be the difference maker here. So yeah, let's see. Small field. And we're off and running. And we got... Looks like everybody fairly close together. City Ground and Gordonsville with Apache Kid at the back now. Inside the final 2.5 furlongs. Bad Sir Brian on the inside. We're going to start making a little bit of move there. The pair of us going to kick on here down the final 2 furlongs. And here comes City Ground. We're going to kick on as well, though. And a late charge here from Gordonsville. Gordonsville going to come through in the last furlong. Looks like Bad Sir Brian is going to come in again. And City Ground. And as I say, these are not great horses, but Syca there. Far more competitive. Just couldn't get things going. And what we're going to be told, struggled in that grade. Yeah. So these are not the best 2-year-olds we have, just because very low abilities. It's going to be very difficult to get them up. Pride could be okay, depending if he can do something in this race. Maybe that will be a good factor for us. But we're going to Vancouver. And we'll see, can we get our first win here from Pride? So it's a good thing I didn't bet heavily on that last race. But yeah, maidens always very difficult to figure out sometimes. You know, you think you know what's going to happen and it just doesn't work out that way. You've got Baltimore Patriot, Tara Gold, Fistful of Euros and Vodka Red at the rear. Then up to Eurolink Cafe on its inside is Maybe I Won't. Far Away taking the lead just on our outside. We're coming up the rail. 1.5 furlongs left to go. We're making a move. It looks like Fistful of Euros is going to make a nice charge as well down the outside. We're currently just holding off the charge. And here comes a Fistful of Euros towards the line. They're going to gain it by about a length in the end. Fistful of Euros wins it from Pride and then Far Away. So Pride does decent. Pride does decent. But Oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? Did not win a maiden. Oh my god, it actually saves you in the middle of the race day. It didn't used to do that, I don't think. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, so... yeah, 6 furlongs for both of them. Psycha's going to be difficult. Yeah, I really need to see if we can get a bit more out of it, but it's probably gained about as much as it's going to in terms of its ability. Yeah, not really sure. Haven't gained any distance. No. Okay. Gonna throw you in there for your last race of the year. I'm really gonna try and limit what a 2-year-old and 3-year-old runs. I think that's probably the best case scenario, is to do it that way. But I'm not 100% sure. Okay, 8-8. I like Ramsamy. In this game, he's not too bad. We're going to go with it just because I'm not really too fussed at this stage. Again, this isn't about winning. I want to see how the difficulty is affecting things, and how, you know, now that we're in normal game, I want to see that. But I also want to see how the whole... if there are any differences, really, between the patches. So, I want to see how much more difficult things are. Let's go to today's race. And here we go. Here we go, Kentucky Derby, my favorite race. Not really sure there's any horse. I like Prince of Dreams, okay. Okay. Favorite tipsters. Best record, grade 2 win. Highest rated is, I mean, it's the only one I saw that I kind of liked, but I was really looking for some horse that we could maybe bet on. Let's kind of see. In the end, it goes out to Tapis Libre. 15-2. Bit of a closer. Okay. Prince of Dreams finished way down in the racing there. Tapis is at least in for the Preakness. So, that's absolutely fantastic. Maiden's not going to watch this one. And Psycho goes and wins. Of course you do. Of course you win. You only win when we're not watching. Okay. So, small win there. And then, have we had the Preakness? I think maybe the Preakness was yesterday. What? Where do I find... of the Preakness? No, the Preakness is coming up. It's not a week, it's 2 weeks. Correct. And we'll skip Pride. Pride will win. So yeah, it looks like Pride's going to max out a 60 ability, 70 potential as 2-year-old. That's not bad. Psycha's going to be down at 40, which is pretty bad. So they both actually gained 15 points. So that's 60 and 40. Yeah, it's not bad. We go through until we get back to the Preakness, which is coming up. What have I done? I went too far, didn't I? Of course I went too far. This is at Baltimore, and I don't think of it as being as Baltimore. So Daylami wins there. Didn't even run in the oh my days. Didn't even run in the Derby. And neither did Secretariat. Secretariat doesn't run at the Kentucky Derby. You kidding me? Comes second in the Arkansas BC Stakes. Got beaten there by Daylami. And then second in the Preakness, gets beaten again by Daylami. So Daylami is a laid-back horse that's worth watching and seeing kind of where they go. Honestly, it's worth watching and seeing where they go, because, you know, they're another great horse, another legend, but they've beaten Secretariat and it's only 2 losses, and Secretariat's one of my favorites, so we will see there. We don't have an unbeaten horse here. We got Locksong, which won a maiden. Was that comfortable? Yeah, that was comfortable. And then Celebration, short head over another legend in Camford Cliffs. So, okay. Frankel winning big. Yeah, okay. So, we'll see how they progress over the whole over the whole length of the game, I should say. So I'm not sure now if I want to be racing these. So raring to go. Constitution's fairly high. Juvenile's not too bad. Fit and ready to race. Juvenile's pretty decent. So we can probably do one more race on these. Again though, I need to double check. Make sure their distances aren't changing on me. Got a grade 3 there. And then got a very difficult grade 3 there for Pride. So Psyker, let's go and find your race. Not going to look at it too much. We're just going to go in and watch the races. And I think if I can get a grade 1 wins here, then I'll be happy. I'll have improved the ability as much as you possibly can, which is about 15 points in a single season. I'll have got a grade 3 on both those 2-year-olds. And I've raced them pretty much as I would have wanted to. So, looks like a big number of horses here out early. Statio, Soldierstry, and Jodwara. Behind us, we go to the outside after going to the inside. That's terrible. Bordeaux, Mad Muse, Blonde Mate, Cold Spring, and Night Lily out to the front. Here goes Cold Spring. Then we go down to the final furlong and a half. Looks like Blonde Mate will take a run at this. We've got Mad Moose up our inside making a run. Bordeaux wants to make a run but can't. Cool Spring will edge out again. Blonde Mate now will come through. A late push by Mad Moose and ourselves. We're all trying to get up. And it looks like a 3-way dance for first there. Won by Blonde Mate. Not too far back for Cool Spring. We settle in as a 4th place finish. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. That was a good... Oh, I've done it again. I'm so used to being, you know, having a mod which moves this button down. So I can just like skip result and then skip to the end of the day's racing. And then there's a quit button. It's terrifying. But yeah, Psyker did okay. So 3 4th place finishes. Not a bad racer. You know, low speed, not a great set of ability. Good other stats, great potential. So we'll see how far we can push that horse over his career. But for right now, I don't think I really want to be racing more than 4 times. So send them out to the grass. We're going to concentrate now on Pride's last race. Let's get them up and running. Good young colts. You know, I do like a lot. 5 furlongs didn't run well. Ran decently as over 6 furlongs. Then won its maiden. So definitely has a difficult race. I'm not going to say anything else about that. Tiger's Tail is in this one again. But a very difficult race to run. And we're just going to have to see how this one works out. But yeah. We're up to 60 ability now. It should be good as a 2-year-old. A lot of 2-year-olds maybe don't have the range for that. And everything else we're pretty good on. So we should be able to compete here just on pure ability. So let's see how this goes. Island Jim at the rear with Anna Palladia and Tiger's Tail there moving up on the inside of Medicine and Montana Miss. So we've got Smart Performance and Mass Dance out at the front with us. We're going to push now clear on that inside as we cross the 2 furlong mark. Here comes Medicine on the outside. As we go to the backstretch, 1.5 furlongs out, Medicine is going to make a run for this. Smart Performance going wide, trying to go there. Tiger's Tail is going to come up on our outside. Does Pride have any fight at the line? 1/2 furlong. We do, but not enough to get more than probably 3rd place there. Just edging out Smart Performance. Medicine, a length back to Tiger's Tail, and then a little bit more back to us. So now, looking at our feedback again, I'm starting to think that both of those might even be 5 furlong horses. And that's something I found more difficult to judge on Starters Order 7. It's the distance of the horse. I looked at the stats and I thought, okay, not a lot of speed. Probably in that case, you know, nobody's got stamina, so that's okay. But we got decent start, we got decent acceleration, we got decent speed, but we got nothing really good. And so I thought, you know, less track means less chance for that difference to prove itself. And that didn't quite work out. Then over 6 we start winning and things look okay, and I run at 6, and then I'm told didn't have the pace for most of the race, ran well considering. That usually means either you're running too short or too long. Normally that's a distance thing. So it does make me think. It does make me think. Okay. So I'm just going to skip through the rest of the season. This is kind of how I do it. If you don't have a horse, go buy a cheap one at a weekly auction. And then just enter the furthest race you can. It's going to cost you a little bit of money, not much. Skip to the day before that race. It'll just simulate through all those races and all those days. Then remove yourself from the declarations you don't actually run. And continue on. So I'll be back at the end of the season. It's not quite at the end of the season, but very, very close. We do have a 4-year-old that's won a grade 2. In fact, won 6 of them. And just in the weekly sales, I just checked the last few days of sales. And didn't really see anything here in the breeding sale yesterday, but come across Miss Ton. I mean, Fies doesn't look too bad, but I'm just really tempted to see what this one might be. I think this is a 2.1 million auction. Oh, we're going to come under 2. Okay. So Miss Ton, great acceleration, good speed. Another short order horse. Don't mind that. And not much else. We're just going to retire from the game because I'm not going to try and sell that next season and hold it round and maybe lose it at different times. So last sale, 2-year-olds. So makes one a selling race. You couldn't win a maiden. Why? Ran on, no chance of winner. Okay, that might be something interesting, but I'm not. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. So we've got one in the field, we've got one there. Lovely. So we've got the 4 yearlings, which are going to be ready to race. These 2 will turn into 3-year-olds. And yeah, I think that will just about do that. So let's see. Dejeur is the top flat sprinter. Familiar name. Should be anyway. We didn't breed any horses. We didn't retire any horses. I'm not going to buy any of those to begin with. And there we go. So we're into our first season with a decent size racing class. So we'll see how that works out. But not too bad. Not too bad from Psycho and Pride on their debut seasons. Let's have a look here. Pride. Yeah. So Pride gained a little bit of potential. And Psycho was on 40 and 75. So gained again a little bit of potential. So not too much. As a 2-year-old, this is how Tyrion looks. And again, that low speed. Shift has low speed as well, but actually starts off in a pretty good position. Huntress again. And Copper's in the same boat. So we'll see. We got a bunch of 2-year-olds that are very similar. We'll see how well they breed, how well they race, and maybe we'll whittle down this transfer list by, testing them out and actually seeing how well they perform. But that's season 1 done of our brand new save here. Stars Order 7, patch 113. And yeah, good first season. We managed to get plenty of money through betting. We managed to upgrade our facilities. We managed to, seed it with some horses from our breeding save that we've worked on over the last few weeks. And I don't see any Group 1 winners. I've got to be honest. I don't see a Group 1 winner here. I don't see a Triple Crown winner here. I don't see a big money-making horse here. I just see a bunch of good horses that might take until they're 4 or 5 to really do something. So, yeah, I'm not 100% on that. One thing I do want to check that I didn't is, yeah, Pride's up now to 75 as is Psycho. Okay. So I can adjust all those. Also, both of them have stamina increases as well. So, always good to update your notes. Psycho was 7. Yeah, Psycho was a 7 furlong. So we've got a 7 furlong and a mile horse. And then we've got our young horses who all have, I think as a yearling they had 75% speed. They go down to 65 as 2-year-olds. And then as 3-year-olds, they seem to have come back up. So, look, something like Copper now is like 55. They were 75. We've gone back up from 65 to 75. So, I mean, Huntress is 45. Copper was 55. Shift is going to be 55, and Tyrion's going to be 45. Very interesting. I don't know why it does that. As I say, I don't know if that's a holdover either from Starters Order 6, or if that's new, or if that's a bug. I have seen those change in all my saves, all difficulties, modded, unmodded, game bred, bought through an auction. One of my horses bred with a game bred, something totally bred by me. First generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation. It happens across the board in all circumstances. So I'm not too sure why. But yeah, that's where we're going to leave it. Thanks very much for watching the opening of the Riding Academy here. And I'm optimistic for the future, but I think it's going to take a few seasons getting there. Not being able to bring in someone like Glingamil. And I'm not bringing in Magical Peace or Personal Touch, Eagle Door, Rose, or Dashing Lad. I'm not bringing any of those in. In fact, I'm probably not going to bring May in as well. I've bred through her, extensively. So, I mean, Khaleesi downward, sure. All these 1- and 2-year-olds might appear in my games until I've used them a few times, in which case they will not be there. But, yeah, the established horses, I'm leaving those in the breeding save, and we're going to go forward on this one as we can. But yeah, as I say, thanks very much for watching, guys. I've been Chris Ormy playing Starters Order 7. I'll see you back here soon for more videos. We'll see what our new 3-year-olds look like, and we'll see what the yearlings turned 2-year-olds can do. Can they better what Pride and Psyker have done? It's going to be a long season, but we're going to find out. Till then, take care of yourselves, and see you soon, guys.